Hello and welcome to Wise Exotics. I'm your host Trevor, and today we'll be doing part 2 of the October start for 2024 video log series. The last video ended prematurely, and there was some things I wanted to cover anyway at length, so this will give me a little more time to do so. Now, if you hear chirps, bangs, and whatnot in the background, that's because there are birds in here. If it gets a little too loud, let me know if I was unclear or unable to be understood at any time in the comment section. Thank you. Now, to start, video log series is something I just do to go over the good, the bad, what's new, and or kind of working on in the background. I have completed a display cabinet for one of the back bedrooms. I have moved a bunch of the hybrids out of there. I've also sold some of the hybrids and species plants, so there is room both in the tank and here now. Again, so you sell plants, you buy plants, you sell plants, you buy plants. It's a fun, beautiful cycle, right? Anyway, spooky sale is in effect for my Instagram sales, so for the whole month of October. What that means is basically you have a 50% chance to get a free plant in your order. It doesn't happen all the time, but if it does occur, enjoy the nice little bonus surprise. Hybrids are marked down. VGI, I believe I have them set as 1 for $25 for the JF001, but if you wanted a set of those for 3, they will be sold for $60. For the Ritz Expario, it's 1 for $35. Both of those, $10 shipping, so factor that in. That's because I have to do the priority because they are seedlings. I want to get them to you as quickly as possible. I have not had any issue at all shipping them. Everybody's received their seedlings so far perfectly intact, and they're growing quite well. Some of them are growing a little faster than I expected. Anywho, to go on from there, I have done some plant Tetris again. A lot of plants are developing and or growing quite fine, as you can see. Now, these are from the tank. These are K crossed with a candy stripe, X Candy. This is a really good Grex. I love that. Kind of like, almost all of them I've seen are either kind of pinkish to orange to reddish. That's just the color scheme I've seen. Now, my friend Hunter, who I actually sold my larger one to, his actually had a really cool trait where up here around the rim of the peristome, there were glands, but they were almost like a neon yellow spot all across. It was really trippy to see. It faded as it matured, but it was a kind of like a necklace effect on it. It was really just neat. My Betabuli VCI from Cloud Force is doing fine. I've had that one for a while. I did move Red Leaf Exotics 30 back into the front because it was growing in the back for some reason. Lemon Cherry is right here, still doing, ow, as I just hit my hand on the humidifier because I'm not paying attention to where I'm placing it. Brixiana, Peter D'Amato Brixiana, Lemon Cherry's other trap is starting to open. I don't know why it says so small over there, but it was doing fine. The Spath X Edward Sienna that I got in a trade from one of you is doing quite well. No issues. It's grown a new leaf here, another new leaf, and it's pushing out a third. So it's just kind of getting into the feng shui or growth habit for my setup. Just acclimating. All the plants are doing really well. Naga was a little stressed in the heat wave, as you can tell with that leaf, but it's pushing out 2 new leaves, so it's gonna be just fine. K3, I really like this trap. Look how pink it is. Like, it's really weird. Camera showed this as a light tan, almost white, but it's actually like a light pink for me, visually looking at it. It's really neat. Pink Candy's slowly filling up its trap. Berbichier is right there. A lot of VGI. I do love this one. I've been calling this one Double Light because that's the one that had the dual leaf. Oof. It's a beautiful specimen. But I moved it because it's developing a nice large trap that looks like it's going to be red right here. Lemon Tart, which is this VGIA new leaf trap. Taffy's pushing another leaf and trap right there. Actually, don't know why it's doing that weird nub thing. But, new leaf, develop a new trap. It's already got a new trap. Its last trap is way back here, which was from September. Taffy makes crazy fast traps. Yeah, it's gonna be striped. This is the one I've been calling Crimson Candy. Look at that thing. That thing is crazy. Apparently, if you overwater VCI, and I was doing this because of the heat wave I had told you guys about. I warned I was going to have one. Well, the heat wave came. I watered this this whole area a lot, trying to keep them cool. Well, if you overwater VCI too much, the lids will pop off, and they'll actually tear their wings, which is kind of like they're oversaturated with water. So please keep that in mind if you have VCI. The live exotic exclusive from Carnivero's right here, doing quite well. Minimax Candy Dreams, that thing's fabulous. I did move one of the Hamadas out, so the 10-60 Hamada is right here, as is the larger Robicantlii. It's been out for a while. These are 2 VCI. I actually really did not... I used to have a car 001 or 00001, whatever the heck it's called, Big Mama X Pink Candy Cane. I had sold it to my buddy Bailey, so his actually went red with stripes after I sold it to him, so it's doing really well for him. But my friend Farmer Travis actually had 4, I guess, pop up on his pot, so he sent me these 2 in a trade for the Clan X Trusmatiensis. I also sent him a bonus plant because I'm just that way. I really like this ping. It's like neon green, but it hasn't made a flower yet. That was one I got from Bay Area Botanicals in a trade. Let's see, clip 1, clip 2, and clip 3. Now 3 is the Borneo Exotics, but these 2 are seed grown. They're doing quite well. This one still gets its little zigzags in its leaf as it ages, which is just a weird trait. My other ones don't do that. The white variegated Gracila, or tri-variegated I should say, it's actually white with green and then light green, so it is a tri-variegated. I keep forgetting that term. All of them are doing well since I shifted them around. I know someone's asked me about the Raja X Edwardsiana Clone 1 that's right there. I saw Clone 2 from Jeremiah Harris. Oh man, that thing is big. Ovada is kind of hiding between them, and it's aging already. Already put out like a leaf or 2, so it's doing fine. All the plants over in the open area at least are doing well. So let's go check out the tank, shall we? Okay, so we're over in the tank setup. I had promised to go over this with one of you. So this is my Singulana. Now, Singulana aren't as often in collections just because they are very sensitive. They are a highland, and they're not, I guess, everybody's cup of tea. A lot of people tend to prefer Edwardsiana's toothiness, but Singulana are a Sumatrian to my recollection. Just like Izume, they get very dark, they get toothy. They're just fine. This one specifically is the 3rd variant, so there are 2 locations for the highland. One is a T, one is a B that I recall offhand. The 3rd area is a lot harder, and it starts with a U. Named location. I do not recall this offhand because it was like 4 months ago that I was looking into these. But a friend of mine also has this variant as well. Now, the issue with this specific one, the 3rd one, and why it's not so readily available is that thing is more sensitive than my diabolica. And I state this very adamantly where, okay, the diabolica went through 90-something degree weather. So did this little one. I'm actually impressed it didn't even show any stress, so I was really worried about it. Because I know how she behaves. I did not know how he behaves. But as you can tell, she did not have a leaf drop or shrinkage. Look at this, leaf shrinkage. They're in the same type of media, so I don't know. I also did put a little sundew in there with it because there was just this big open square and it bothers me. There was not much there. This one has always been very sensitive. If it doesn't get a high amount of humidity, it doesn't picture. If it didn't get the right amount of light and temperature range, it's very picky. So I think the reason the Ultra Highland version of Singulana specifically is not so well known in cultivation is just because it's a pain in the neck for most people. I'm having problems with it. I can grow most things without really doing anything, so I actually had to kind of keep an eye on it. But I mean, I got it for $15, so I can't really complain. Let's see, my Ristolochoides, that thing is growing like a weed. Northiana has 2 growth tips, so there's one hiding along this side and there's one pushing out here. The Seaground Northiana, I actually was really enjoying this. Nice Northiana-like. This one was actually finally getting the parasome kind of angled wings. The 3 Bongsa siblings are right here. Love how red that is. The Hamada and Cantlay that are still in here, the Lumit, and this is actually still my oldest Cantlay. It's just slower growing than its sibling. And then here's the Nebularum, where the Rob will push its leaf outward and trap outward. The Neb actually tucks it underneath itself, which is weird. Nepenthes Aime, this is a seed-grown one from Carnivero. Actually is getting stripes on this trap, so I was happy to see that. Some I might get it, some don't. This is the Big Mama X Pink, no, K X Pink Candy Cane from my friend Jacob. He was shifting out some plants and he offered it to me. It's doing quite well. Trying to make, it's already got a growth pushing through, Jacob, so it's good, it's solid, it's happy. I keep finding like little tiny feathers, and that's just because the wind and fan blowed them all over the place. How's Mountain X Barrio? Just a lot of Vichii, let's not lie. I have a type. Epiphydiata and Loei right next to each other, doing quite well. It doesn't look like there's any stress on that one. Truncata looks like it's getting a little red. I do like this kind of golden Vichii. This is G&G Mulu. I can't tell if you're supposed to call that Gungung Mulu or just G&G dot Mulu. It's easier for me to say that, so thus I say it. Now this is one I just got from Carnivero. This is a Big Mama crossed with the Wave. This is a Gross Trace. I like how pale it is. But I was a little worried because, so I bought this recently and that's a small. This is also a small. So I contacted Drew going, hey, is this really a medium one? Because they had small and medium for sale via live auction. The live auction one was 25 for a small and 35 for a large. And I said, oh, cool, I'll get a, or not large, a medium. And I said, I'd like a medium, please. And so I paid and got the invoice for a medium, but I got this really tiny one. So I contacted Drew, and I had also asked for the pink candy tag. And I'm like, what? I didn't get the tag, and I got a small. So I left a voice message for Drew. He called me back, and he said he's going to send the tag out now. And then I just got an email from him today saying, as an apology, they're going to send another one of these with the tag. And they even sent me a gift card, which was really nice. I wasn't expecting it. As I said, oh, yeah, if you're going to send me the tag, thank you. Just disregard my email, which had the same summation. It was just what we talked about in the phone call. So that was pretty nice of him. I wasn't expecting it. As I was just gonna say, well, it is what it is, and I'll just keep it. I like it because it's a pale yellow. I said I was perfectly fine with it. I just had worried I had got the smaller end instead of getting a medium. He said some of the mediums can be on the small spectrum, but it's just how their leaf from tip to tip is measured. And I said, yeah, okay, that's fine. I understand you have a model, and you go with a specific ruling between leaf sizes. So sometimes you'll get a larger small or a smaller medium. It's totally fine, but really nice that he did that. Let's see, the car 441. Look at that red coming in. And its siblings right here doing the same thing. So that's a pretty hot Grex. That has some good genetics. So that is Vichii Murata X Candy, which best clone crossed with Akazukin X Barrio. So that's car 0441. Doing well. Paloensis. I really like that one. Is doing fine. Attenborough, no issues. I was worried it was a little stressed because this leaf is a little tinier, but it's still pushing out traps. Now, this Seaground Raja is just crazy. Look at that trap. Look at that red on that parasome. This thing is literally younger than that one, but it's a type form. This is a Tembe Yukon. This is a Kinabalu, and this has really good genetics. It was bred to make a hardier Raja variant from Nepenthes gods, so take that as you will. He does have a website now, so that was really neat. I'd love to get more stuff from him, but my wallet says no. Let's see, Macroclim T. It is doing fine. Phoenix, or the Macro G, as some of you keep calling it, doing fine as well. The Clone 23, or 1998-23, is doing fine. My Velosa, no issues that I can see. In fact, it's actually finally getting toothy little traps. Now, I'm coming back to the Diabolica here specifically. So this is clone 4, which is a female. This is clone 1, which is a male. There is not a lot of video or pictures of a mature clone 1, so that's why I specifically went with that clone. There were other clones available. The easiest of Diabolica, and I know some people want to try, but they're fearful. The easiest to grow ones are the AW. And of the AW, number 7 and 14 and 5 are probably the easiest in that order. They're all males. They're readily available. You can actually get a order going with this with Stuba. Just the import fees will hurt your wallet. I won't lie. But they're doing quite well. As you can tell, she went through a heat wave for 90 degrees for an entire week and didn't care. I was able to get night drops to compensate, but you know, can't complain. This one's already pushing its growth tip, and it looks like it might develop a trap for me, so I'm really excited to see and compare these two. Now, on a side note, I actually had a friend offer me something I wasn't expecting to be able to ever find, at least for a long while. Nepenthes Mariae. Now, we all know I love Diabolica. Well, originally Diabolica was part of a Grex, as you can see here, called Red Hairy Hamada. That was one of the original identifications for this RHH. They were originally thought to be a strain derived from Hamata, but in a different location. After a long while, they eventually gave them their own type form. Now, the leaves of Diabolica are actually a lot different than Hamata. Hamata almost get like spade kind of leaves coming out. These are perfectly straight, and there's a translucent center. So it's really neat. And the way they do their leaves is different. These kind of remain flat. These kind of go spidery. But again, that could be a type form. Anywho, back on the subject. For Red Hairy Hamada, there were actually two plants divided out of it. There was Nepenthes Diabolica and Nepenthes Mariae. Now, in Mariae, there's some debate on it if it is actually another species or just a type form, kind of like the Lumet versus Tambusisi versus the Kempotani. Hamadas, there are 3 types of Hamadas, and I think I actually said that third one right, because I do not get a chance to see that one other than from my friend Bailey, who's got one. They are not that common. There is Kempotani x Tambusisi, Tambusisi x Lumet. There have been crossbreeding of the variant locations for a while now, but the pure 3 are Tambusisi, Lumet, and then Kempotani. So those 3 are the Hamada types. Well, and Mariae looks very similar to Diabolica, but the trap opening is different. Whereas you can see on my girl here, she's got an orange body, yellow kind of rim, and then these black red teeth. Mariae are the opposite. They actually get a red peristome with red teeth, and then a flat tan body that's still fuzzy, very similar leafage. But the most noticeable difference in why they were later categorized with their own species was because the uppers are completely different to Diabolica. They just look very similar when they're in their lower stage. I've actually never seen a Mariae upper before. I've seen Diabolica, but that's what I was told is one of the big factor traits. Originally, Mariae in the wild, they had only ever seen the upper version. That's why it was classified as N. Mariae. Someone somewhere started cultivating, taking Diabolica out of the wild, or population notice, and they discovered that some of the ones that looked like Diabolica got really weird uppers, and they said, wait, that's not Diabolica, that's N. Mariae then. So that's how that originally got into horticultural. It was by accident. It was by, thinking it was one of the other species. Just because their uppers are different doesn't mean their lowers can't be similar. So I actually do have one of those coming in from a friend. He actually got a few, and he had offered me one, so I said yes. We're really interested in comparing it because it's almost the same size as this number 1. We want to compare all 3 of these two to that Marrier and see how they develop. And heck, maybe in the future I'll be able to make a N Marrier cross with Diabolica. So that'll be neat. Yeah. Nothing else coming to mind. I'm doing a big overhaul. Also, one of the bathrooms, the bathtub started to fall in, so I'm repairing that whole bathroom. So if I'm not as available to talk on Instagram as I was prior, it's mainly due to working in the bathroom and trying to overhaul that with the craftsman or whatever you call it, restoration guy to help repair, remodel, and redo that bathroom. So keep that in mind, and I'll see you all next video. I'll do a video of the Enmaria when it comes in. I think I also might get a seed pod, he said, of Ventricosa Black F3s, which is basically 2 blacks were bred, then 2 blacks were bred back together of the Ventricosa strain, and then that was bred again. So that's how you make an F3, is you keep creating a genetic lineage from the same pool of the same types. Anywho, so that might also be coming in. I can't remember if I said yes to that, honestly. So that'll be all. Trevor out.